Hi, y'all. Welcome to Casey's Corner. Today, I am joined by a very special guest, Godless Engineer.
What's up, heathens?
Hi. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Faithless Forum. It is kind of Faithless Forum week. All of the creators that were involved in the Faithless Forum are posting the panels and activities and everything that we did that day. So we've been doing that since Saturday, and there's been a video a day except today because, Holy Koolaid had to do taxes. I figured he could just bust through the wall of tax court and be like, oh yeah, but no, not so much. So
I just imagine Thomas breaking through a wall being like, oh yeah! It's like, no, motherfucker, you gotta look like me to do that.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't do like a Kool-Aid oh yeah thing, so they don't sue him.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be all that concerned about it, but
I don't either.
I understand his concern.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be kind of a driving force here. I might throw in my 2 cents every once in a while and whatnot to kind of add to the conversation, but it's mostly just going to be Casey, telling it from her perspective.
Yeah. So we're just going to talk to you a bit about Faithless Forum. And if you have questions or anything, go ahead and put them down in the comments, and I will be responding throughout the day. I usually go for a couple days responding to comments and questions. So go ahead and put your comments down there. So what's up, GE? What are we talking about?
Well, we're going to be talking about Faithless Forum, leading up to it, motivations for it, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, what we can do better. And just in general, your point of view, because you have a very unique point of view. She, did a lot of the organizing, both beforehand and day of. She had her hands in a lot of things. We got our hotel rooms, big hotel rooms. Like, I'm
Suites.
No joking, suites.
2 rooms.
We had a living room and a bedroom. Okay, $80 a night.
Yeah.
We did not spend that much on lodging, and it's because of this woman right here.
Yeah.
So, KC, I want to know, what was your motivation before, the actual forum took place? What was your motivation for really making sure that this happened?
Well, the initial idea of having a meet and greet, like everybody come together and hang out and say, hey fans, we're going to be here at this time, kind of really, really quickly morphed into a conference, sort of. It's not really a conference. It was more an event, but it really kind of morphed quickly into this and grew fast.
I would say that it's very much a beginner conference is what it turned into. You have to walk or you have to crawl before you walk, obviously. And I feel like this was our crawling step, but next year we're going to be fucking sprinting.
Yeah. So we kind of went from 0 to 100 in 3 fucking seconds with this whole thing. And, John was like, hey, let's do a hangout. And Genetically Modified Skeptic Drew, he was like, wait, why don't we have speeches and panels? And so we spent hours and hours on the phone, in hangouts, talking about different ideas and really formulating this. And it took a lot of work. But my motivation behind it was basically this seems like a really positive thing. All the people that were involved are really, they're positive people with good intentions, and they're just such good people, and they're smart and they're funny, and they really want to community build, and they want to focus on talking about issues that impact atheists specifically. And I think conferences lack that now in general, because they've kind of gone the route of social justice, whether it's all the way full on, yay, social justice and feminism, or kind of the newer ones that are kind of going anti-social justice. And I get it. That kind of stuff is important to people, and they have really seriously, strongly held opinions on it. And that's fine. But atheism by itself has nothing to do with those things. And, things like the separation of church and state and the impacts of religion on people have those kinds of things have fallen by the wayside when it comes to regular conferences. So my motivation was, let's bring some people together and let's do something positive, and let's focus on the things that we can maybe make a difference in. And so really it was the community building kind of thing and positivity, because there's so much negativity and so many divides in the atheist community. And I feel like at some point we just need to come together and figure our shit out.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with all that. I mean, my motivation was simply to show that, we don't need a big budget and we don't need big names in order for atheists to get together and have a good time. But more importantly, how important the YouTube voices are.
Yes.
And the voices on other platforms are. And I think that those are very important. And that's another thing that I always want to highlight.
So I like that you mentioned how important the voices on YouTube are, and other platforms, but YouTube specifically, because the conference, the so-called circuit conference atheists, the ones that are at all the cons and talk about all the same shit everywhere that they go, they're great and all, but people are really listening to the creators on YouTube, and YouTube creators don't get invited to go to these things. They really don't. And so it's like we don't have a place at main conferences because they're not talking about what we're talking about. So I just think that it's awesome that we've created this space for, small creators and bigger creators, medium-sized creators, and just people on YouTube that people are listening to and talking about and talking to and collaborating with. And we can all get together and talk about that shit. And we can encourage other people to start creating content, writing, speaking, doing whatever it is that they can do, building stuff in their community, small groups where like, hey, let's go out and hang out at a pub and talk. And so I think that that's really interesting that you brought that up, because YouTube voices are really, really loud right now, and we don't have a place. So this is our place.
I completely agree. And one of the big reasons for me that I want this to continue is because of our voices that aren't being heard, or people that aren't being invited to conferences and everything like that. Like focusing on the people that are actually in the movement. And I'm kind of curious as to what you're like why do you want this to continue? Like Faithless Forum in general.
I want Faithless Forum to continue mainly because of what I saw when I was there. We started out the day with the Street Epistemology short talk, and then workshop with Anthony Magnabosco. And it was amazing. He's so awesome to listen to and really interesting and has a great perspective. And really Street Epistemology just comes down to better ways to communicate with people so they can stop and think about what they're saying. And when you ask questions, you're more likely to get answers back from people instead of, going after someone's idea. Ask them why and make them think. And so it's a really great way to communicate with people. And it doesn't just have to be about like religious beliefs. And Anthony was telling us it could be about anything. I mean, it could be about Bigfoot. And so it was a great talk, and it was an awesome way to start out the conference, because after he did his talk, he showed us a video and we had a workshop. And Anthony is going to talk some more about his workshop on his channel. And when that comes out, we'll definitely be promoting that. But he basically did 5-minute segments. I think we did 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and people would switch. And basically, it was kind of like an icebreaker sort of thing. People got to pair up with a person and practice street epistemology. And the person who was the person that had the belief was kind of asked to use a belief you used to have and argue from that perspective. And, a lot of times these kind of like group activity things don't really go over really well. A lot of people don't participate. And so I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I was really amazed. I was standing in the back of the room because I was doing registration, and so I wanted to be near the door. And so I didn't participate in the practicing of street epistemology, but I watched so many different people, and people who didn't really feel comfortable with doing the talking turned around and they kind of huddled in groups and watched and paid attention. And then you would see the people who didn't really want to do it to begin with, like didn't want to be the speaker people to begin with in their area, that they would start asking questions. And it was really great to see people talking and practicing communicating with each other. And I think that that's a really important thing that we need to learn how to do and try to do when we're doing our content, is better ways of communicating and getting our message across, which leads us into the first panel, which was about communicating your message. And so we got to talk a lot about different styles and of communication and different ways that you do it. And is mockery your thing, which everybody knows mockery is GE's thing, or
hells yeah.
Or, do you use an avatar? Do you have your face on camera? And how does that work for you? And what do you think is most effective? And so it was really interesting to hear the creators talk about the different ways that they do things and how they've been effective for them. And it gives people in the audience, ideas of how they can do things and maybe how they want to do it if they want to speak out. And so to me, as we were going through the day, I got to talk to a lot of different people in the audience. And what makes me want to keep doing this is that they were affected. Like, this impacted them. I had no fewer than 5 people come up to me when the day was completely finished to show me drawings of their avatar that they decided that they were going to use and drew during the day, or that they were going to start writing a blog, or that they had started a channel but really weren't sure what direction they were going to do. And so now they're totally going to do it and they're really excited about it. And there was somebody who came up to me and was like, I'm going to start a group, like a small group in my area where we get together and hang out and talk about stuff and whatever. And it was so touching to me that we were able to have an impact and get people excited about building a community and about speaking out. And it was incredible.
Yeah, and I have to admit I could have done a bit better on my first panel about communicating the message. So it's a little ironic how on the communicating your message I wasn't communicating my message very well.
Hey, you didn't do too bad. There were a couple times where like you got off track, but you know how you do. Like, you don't script anything, you just get off on a tangent. I do that sometimes too, like with this particular question that you just asked.
So, the whole thing of people starting up blogs, channels, groups and whatnot, we've already seen a lot of that. There's the Skeptic, I think his name's Skeptic Texan on Twitter. Yeah. He started a blog, and I believe that he was there at the forum. And then the guy that drew the picture, he started up a Twitter. And
he did. Yeah, he followed me on Twitter.
Yeah, and I've anytime that he's been on Twitter, I've been sure to interact with him and to keep his spirits high, I guess. So for me, like, that was a big meaningful thing that came out of this, was the fact that we had an effect on people and we showed people that, all you have to do is start. Like, that's the biggest thing or the biggest hurdle that you will ever encounter, is actually starting to do it. So I'm kind of wondering, for you, Casey, what was the most meaningful thing of this conference? Or what did the conference mean to you personally?
Well, at first, when we first started talking about it, I was like, I don't know if I can get off of work, so I'm not sure if I'm going to go. Like, that was at the very, very beginning, when it was just going to be like a hangout and meet up with some fans. And and then it kind of morphed a little, and I'm kind of a natural planner. I've planned weddings and different kinds of events before, so it's kind of natural to me. And there was one night when it was really early on, when they were having one of the very first hangouts, and it was like we talked about what we were going to call the thing. And I think GE was on a stream. I don't know. You were on something. And so I jumped into the hangout, and we just started like talking, and honestly, the people that we planned this with, TellTale and Prophet Azad and Holy Koolaid and Genetically Modified Skeptic. And early on, we had Shannon Q in there with us because we were still hoping at that time to get, some of our Canadian brethren and sisterin down here for it. That didn't work out this year, but hopefully next year. Here's the problem. We planned it so fast that a lot of people couldn't make it. But next year, you're going to have so many creators. It's going to be amazing. And so we started throwing back and forth different ideas on what to name the thing. And, we came up with all kinds of different ideas. And then we were like, okay, let's use faithless. Well, what word can we use with faithless? And so we just kind of kept throwing ideas back and forth. And we ended up on Faithless Forum. And it was such a positive conversation. I know that probably sounds weird, but it was such a positive interaction in conference planning, which I hadn't really had a whole lot of up to that point. So it was such a positive interaction, and we worked really well together. And so I kept going with the planning, and I was like, yeah, I'm totally going. I'm totally in on this thing. And getting closer with other creators has meant everything. It's been so awesome. We are like family now. And it's not just creators that I already had met or knew sort of, or maybe talked to a couple of times or hadn't talked to at all, but it's smaller, newer creators that kind of got pulled in a little bit that we got a chance to meet there. And it's this family that we're growing. And a lot of atheists, when they lose religion, if you started out as religious, you tend to lose family or friends when you come out as an atheist, which we had a panel about that was awesome. It's on Genetically Modified Skeptic's channel if you haven't checked it out. But so many people lose family and friends and lose community. So what means the most to me about this thing is building a community where people can come together and find friends and find a family, because family doesn't just have to be blood, but this is the real deal, man. Like Drew, Genetically Modified Skeptic, love him. He's my little brother, and you can't convince me any otherwise. And so it's just, that's what has meant the most to me. The impact that we had on people's lives, the impact that we actually have on people's lives, it's unbelievable. And then the impact that other people can have, it's a ripple effect. Thomas, Holy Koolaid, really explained it well in his speech, which is on his channel. Go see that too. But he really talks about it very eloquently and how that ripples out. So the impact we can have on people's lives is of the utmost importance. And I think that's wonderful. But the family that we're creating is amazing.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I love this group of people, and I've had a few close groups of people in my time in the atheist community, and they've either dissolved or, kind of blew up, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that is a very meaningful part of it. And but I'm kind of curious, what was your favorite part of the conference? Like any one panel or activity or anything like that?
Well, so I told all the guys from probably midway through planning this thing all the way till the end, I'm excited to, meet some of you and see some of you that I've already met and hang out with all of you. But the thing I'm most excited about is meeting Allie Jackson, because Allie Jackson is legit my hero. If you don't know who Allie Jackson is, she's the president of Atheist Republic, and she literally takes activism to a whole other level. She saves people's lives every single day. And I admire the fuck out of her. And she and I have been friends online for a while, and I haven't got to meet her, and we've kind of missed each other at other things before. And so that for me was amazing. In the hotel, she stayed right across the hall from us. So when she was like, hey, we're checked in. So I sent her a message and I was like, okay, what room are you in? And she tells me, and I'm like, oh my God, Allie's right across the hall. And I had myself a little freak out. And then I was like, okay. And I locked myself out of the hotel room because I left without a key. And I had to get...
I did too, by the way.
I was just so excited to meet her. And that was amazing. And hearing her talk, the way that she talks about her job, I mean, it's her job, but it's her passion. The way that she talks about it is unbelievable.
And by the way, that talk will be posted on Prophet Azad's channel and TellTale Atheist's
on
channel.
Thursday and Friday. We're splitting it up because it was pretty long. But meeting her was unbelievable. She's incredible. I also... my favorite section of the day was the hate comments, which a lot of people said, and I may be a little biased because John ran the hate comments activity, but it was fantastic. It's actually it's out on this channel. It was posted yesterday. If you're listening to this on Thursday, it was posted yesterday. But what we did was we took all of our hate comments. Everybody submitted hate comments, and it had to be family friendly because we were in a children's theater. I don't know, family friendly is not exactly GE.
Well, no, but I also didn't remain family friendly, as you have seen or you will see once you click whatever card is popping up right now.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, the hate comment activity didn't happen until after dinner, where there were no more children in the theater at all. Plus, we were upstairs in a separate kind of area, so it wouldn't have mattered. But anyways,
well, there was one kid there. He was 11 years old, 11. And he has as bad of a mouth as me, so it really didn't bother him.
He was hilarious. His mother, she was wonderful. She actually volunteered and did our bartending for us. So that was the most helpful thing she could have possibly done. We had amazing volunteers who did our cameras and helped set up and put up tables and move chairs and film without brilliant doubt. And Suris and his girlfriend filming the whole thing. I don't know where it would have been, people. So that was...
I don't know. I'm really glad that they were there to help out. Although I will say, thanks to flat earthers, I will be getting a new camera. Yeah. It probably got in yesterday as of this posting on Thursday. It would have gotten in Wednesday, and so I should have a lot better video quality. But that's important because next year at Faithless Forum 2, we will have a lot of camera angles to go through. Mm-hmm. We will have many redundant systems. And we will have dependable people on the recorder for the mics. Yeah,
we've learned a lot. But the hate comment, back to the hate comments thing. What we did was blocked out the wordy dirties in the hate comments, because I don't know that anybody's ever seen a hate comment without a cuss word. Of course, we might have had a couple. Hate comments without wordy dirties are very uncommon. Anyway, block those out and put the part of speech that those words were functioning as. And we played hate comment Mad Libs, and it was hilarious. It was so much fun, and the audience really interacted, which was another favorite part of mine at the conference, was how much people interacted. So at regular atheist conferences, but at the more common atheist conferences that you go to, they're really expensive, they cost a lot. And access to the speakers is ungodly. It's unbelievable how much it costs to be able to have access to the speakers, to get all the VIP shit and everything else. Here at Faithless Forum, we sat in the audience. We walked around and talked to people. We did interviews with anybody who asked, pretty much, that was there. We chatted with people at the snack table, and had dinner with them, and we all sat at tables with them, and halfway through dinner we swapped seats so that the VIPs could sit with different creators and talk to different creators. And so we intermingled, and, you know, it only cost $20 to come to our conference. And, you know, that really made it affordable for people who can't afford to go to conferences normally.
Yeah. And I believe it was after my hate comments activity, Drew had about 5 people lined up, like, in front of him to talk to him. And so, like, I went up there, like, I stopped everything for just a couple minutes. Then I had to go back up there to start the panel because I was moderating the last 2 panels that we had. And Drew had like 5 people, so I had to walk past these 5 people. And as soon as they saw me hit that podium, they were like, fuck. And they had to go back to their seats. Drew had to go back to his seat. But I mean, Drew, he went and sat back in the audience.
Yeah, and we didn't have a lot of time during breaks, which we're going to do different next year, right? We're going to have longer breaks. We're actually probably going to have to make the conference longer, just to accommodate some of those things. But we're going to have some more breaks. Well, maybe not more breaks. But generally, we had plenty of time to talk to people because we also talked to people after. We had like a, not a happy hour. It was like just a close it up kind of thing for an hour after when we were trying to get everything put away.
Yeah, I helped exactly none in putting things away because I had to do an Atheist Edge interview, and then I got, like, on the way to and back from it, I got stopped by people that were wanting to talk. It was pretty awesome. And there were people that were wanting selfies with me, and a couple people asked me for my signature, and I was like, I don't know how to fucking sign Godless Engineer.
Yeah, that was really cool. And we had one author actually bring all of us a copy of his book, Jay Miller. The book's called The Holy Bible, Naked and Exposed. And it's the entire Bible, basically undressed and rendered in plain English with commentary. So he brought a book for all of us, which was amazing. And if you don't know about this book, you should check it out. I believe it's on Amazon. So.
And so can you remind us again, what's your favorite part?
Oh my God, the whole thing was my favorite part. I know. I had so many different things, but the hate comments was super funny. That was my favorite, like, activity. And I mean, my favorite panel was mine, of course.
Well, yeah, but I think the first thing you let off with was Allie.
Yes.
I believe Allie was probably your tier 1 like favorite thing of the entire conference.
Yes. Oh, and we got to meet some of our favorite people. We got to meet Peachy and see Main Gun again because we've already met him. But that was awesome. It was just so great to meet people. It
was. I think it was the first time both of us had met Peachy.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool.
She's lovely.
So to kind of round out the interview here, or not really interview, discussion, I guess, what do you think we can do better for next year?
Well, we've kind of already talked about a couple of things. I think that our format is a winner. Like, I think what we did was great. I think what we will do different next year is this year we reused panelists, right? Because the whole idea is for the cost of this to be super low so that we can charge very little for tickets. Because there's no way you can pay speakers fees and charge $20 a ticket. That's just not possible. You won't be able to afford to have the conference. I think we'll have a lot more creators next year. And part of that is planning time, right? And so we'll have more creators, and I don't think we'll reuse any creators because this year we had, everybody had multiple things. So next year we'll just have more voices, which I think will be great. And, there were some audio video things that we learned. I personally learned that when I buy lanyards for the event next year, not to get the year put on them because I bought 200 lanyards and we had 80 people. So I legit have 120 lanyards from Faithless Forum 2018 that now I can do nothing with. So me personally, next year when I buy lanyards, I will buy them and they just say Faithless Forum so we can use them if we have leftovers. And then the cards that people write their names on and put them in the little slips, the cards will say the city and the year on them at the top or bottom, whatever, so that they'll have still like Dallas 2019, but the lanyards we can use because, hey, if anybody wants a Faithless Forum lanyard, let me know.
Yeah, you can let us know in the comments or email godlessengineering@gmail.com. We will do our best to send one out to you.
Yeah, I just want to get rid of them.
Oh, and on that note, we do have a P.O. Box now.
We do.
P.O. Box 425 is probably on the screen right now, but P.O. Box 425, Madison, Alabama, 35758.
Yeah.
If you want to send us anything or whatnot, if you need our quote-unquote address for any reason, that is it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with all of those things. I think that we can introduce, new activities next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably not doing maybe we could do hate comments again.
I think everybody loves hate comments, and I think hate comments will be different every year, and I love the Mad Lib thing, and so did everybody else.
Yeah.
But you'll have new creators, so you'll have new creative hate comments.
Well, plus it'll be a whole year, and we'll have a whole year to gather these hate comments.
We will.
But yeah, no, I think all of that's great. I think one of the things that we definitely need to do is to elongate it, maybe make it a full day kind of deal.
Yeah.
And maybe, with us elongating it, we can have one or two more panels. We can have, maybe one or two more actual speakers, because this year we really had Anthony, but I think that we could have
Thomas.
Well, yeah, Thomas rounded out the night. He had a really good speech at the end.
He did. I already mentioned it. Go to Holy Koolaid's channel and watch his, what's it called? Revitalizing Atheism?
Revitalizing, I think.
Or something like that. The atheist community or something like that. I don't remember what he called it. Whatever. Go to Holy Koolaid's channel and watch it. He uploaded it on Sunday, and it's spectacular.
Yeah. So, is there anything you want to leave your fans with right now?
My fans.
You have fans. They're probably pissed off right now, writing a comment like, "What's this fat motherfucker doing on Casey's corner? That son of a bitch. Get your own channel, GE."
Well, so I asked GE to do this because I was having a hard time writing out what I wanted to talk about. And I was like, I really need you to just kind of lead the conversation, because I didn't want to just recap everything that happened, kind of because we've already done that quite a bit. So I didn't really want to do the same thing. So he's helping me out. So don't give him too hard of a time. I asked him to be here.
See, guys, she wants me here.
I do. This thing has been such an incredible journey. It's been a short one so far, but we're turning Faithless Forum into a nonprofit organization.
Yes, we are.
We are. And we are doing that with some of our family. And so Genetically Modified Skeptic already announced on his channel that he will be the president of the organization. And I think he's going to do an amazing job. I will be fulfilling two roles. One of the secretary, because I'm a woman and I'm the only one who can take notes.
Well, no, not because you're a woman. It's because you're impeccable note-taking and organizational skills. Okay, yes, that is the reason why.
I know. And
if Phil was good at that shit, we'd probably make him do it.
And then a director of event planning. So I'm kind of fulfilling two roles. And the way that we worked out everybody's roles was kind of how we planned this year, and what we all kind of just naturally took over because it's what we're naturally good at. So everybody else is going to announce their roles in their own time. And so I'll let everybody else do that. But those are the two so far. Well, technically I have two roles myself. So I think I should get 2 votes in board meetings. What do you think?
No, secretary doesn't get a vote.
What? But the director of event planning role is going to be probably pretty fulfilling for me. I love event planning. And I don't think that we're going to stop at Dallas, y'all. Next year, we'll probably only do Dallas so we can perfect our model and get it working on a larger scale, because hopefully next year will be at least twice the size of this year. And so we're going to try to replicate what we did this year and make improvements and figure out exactly the right way. And then we're going to take this other places, folks. We're going to be going.
Hopefully. I mean, that's the kind of end goal, because part part of it was to make an affordable conference. And then the other part of it is to make it to where people can go to this and experience it themselves. And I think the only way that we can do that is by bringing it to different locations on top of the Dallas one, which will be the main event.
Yes.
But I think that we can spool up other ones elsewhere. And we've got a lot of details to work out with it. We've got to build, some things up first. And I think that we can eventually start doing that. So
yeah, I mean, ideally what we want is we want to build the community so that there are other people in the community that want to take charge and plan a Faithless Forum. We want you all to take part in it and help plan it for your area. If you want one in your area, then we want to help do that. But that's a little ways in the future. But being the director of event planning, I would be the point person for all of those things. So it's going to be a lot, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really, really excited about where we're headed with this.
Yeah. So yes, KC here is going to be director of event planning and secretary, and I am going to be vice president.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to do that. I'm excited to fill that role because I really want to make this happen, and I want to do whatever it is that I can. I mean, I'm like one of those multi-tools. I can do a lot of things except for like record keeping and event planning and finances. I mean, I can do a lot of shit, but I'm just saying that I feel like the role of vice president, I don't exactly know what vice presidents do, and neither does our current U.S. vice president, but I think that I can really help us move in the direction of, bringing Faithless Forums to other places. Because, I mean, there's a lot of creators in Florida that we would love to bring a conference at least somewhere close to where they can travel to it and we can have them. Like, I think it would be awesome to get like Vadim Newquist, Dark Matter 2525, Red's Rhetoric. He's down in Florida.
Cirrus is in Georgia.
Poison in the Wells in Georgia. I mean, I actually got messaged on Twitter today from a atheist guy in Mobile. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of people in that region, but there's also a lot of people in like the Nashville region. There's a lot of people in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
And so
it's funny when what did we do yesterday? Your stream?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on GE stream, well, that would have been Monday, right? So on GE stream at the end, we had all kinds of people that were like, hey, can you come to Ohio or Kentucky? Can you come to Virginia? Can you come to California? Can you come to Australia? it's like, yeah, I think we can. But it'll take some time. So we're just working through all of that and really looking forward to helping build up our community in a positive way.
Definitely. Well, I know I really appreciate everybody joining us today.
Yes, it was great. And thank you, Godless Engineer, for joining Casey's Corner.
I had a great time. I really liked it. I hope I get to come back. I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna have you back sometimes, but
yay!
Yeah, but next week, guys. Oh, I'm not supposed to tell anybody but my patrons, but since I only have two. So next week...
Hey, I'm your biggest one right here, so let it out.
I know. So next week, I'm going to be doing my second Christian products video. And just like I said in my first Christian's product video, which if you haven't watched it, go do it. I did actually buy those Jesus Band-Aids. So there is a prize in the Band-Aids, and I haven't opened them yet because I'm waiting to open them with you. So we're doing that next week.
That's going to be so awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us here on Casey's Corner, and don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.